Hi, my name is Morgan Rondinelli.
And my name is Molly Fishback.
We are the co-founders of the nonprofit Not Alone Notes, and we're going to be talking to you about arts and advocacy and how we combine those endeavors in our nonprofit. And if you'd like to reach out to us, we have our website and our social media handle at the bottom. So a little introduction. I'm a writer, a dancer, a Michigan alum, and I have had OCD since I was in preschool, really, and I wasn't diagnosed till I was 19. And after I was diagnosed, I was able to get treatment and make a lot of friends with OCD, and that was so important to my recovery that I remembered, though, what it felt like to feel so alone. And I wanted to reach out to people who also might feel alone, might not know people who have OCD. So I had started a blog when I was diagnosed, and after a little bit, I added a Google form to have people request notes. So basically, I love snail mail. I had a box of stationery. I figured people should just be able to request a letter. And so I started sending encouraging, hopeful messages to people with OCD. And Molly joined a little bit later.
Yeah, so my name is Molly. I'm a teacher and I have OCD. I was diagnosed when I was 11, but I technically had symptoms since I was in preschool. And when I was diagnosed and throughout my whole life until fairly recently, I didn't know anyone with OCD and I felt alone and felt like an outcast. And so when I would follow people online like Morgan, who would talk openly about what her life is like with OCD, and I thought she was so cool. And so when I saw that she posted about sending cards, I'm an artist, so I made cards for fun. So I was like, I'll send you a bunch of cards. And then she got the cards and wrote notes. And then I was like, I'll help you with social media. So we set up an Instagram and a Facebook page. And we got a bunch of requests. And then I started writing the notes as well. And Morgan started making some cards. And and yeah, the rest is history. We're like, you'll see.
It's just exploded since then.
Yeah, you'll see in the next coming slides what it has turned into.
So a little bit more about what Not Alone Notes is. Basically, we mail handwritten cards to people with OCD. It's an encouraging, hopeful note. We include resources, and we will send them anywhere in the world. And you can see this is us at the International OCD Foundation Conference. We've had sessions where people can help make cards, and then we'll either send them out to individuals or send them to treatment programs. And in the bottom right, you can see our whole team of, or at least some of our team of writers, and they help us. They're all around the country. We have a writer in Canada. They help us create these messages for people with OCD and related disorders.
And it's important to mention they're also free. We do this completely free. Anyone can request a note with OCD. Yeah. We also write notes to people with BFRBs, which is body focused repetitive behaviors. So that's like compulsive nail bite, compulsive like skin picking, hair pulling, also known as trichotillomania and dermatillomania. And there's a lot of other things under that category, but those are just some examples. And so people on the, sorry.
No, go ahead.
People on the form, when you sign up for a note, can say if they want a note for someone with OCD, BFRB, or both.
And you can see some of Molly's artwork for these cards. We thought it really added a special touch when we switched from stationery to these handmade cards, because they're getting an individual piece of artwork. It's unique to them. We ask their favorite color on the form, and we try to just make it as special as possible. So some of our impact, in the 3 years we've been doing this, we've sent over 1,500 notes, which is, I don't know, I think that's pretty amazing that in 3 years we've sent that many. We've sent to 48 states, and my face is blocking it, 39 countries. The 2 states we're holding out on are Delaware and Wyoming. We, of course, will send them anywhere, but if you know people with OCD in Delaware and Wyoming, we are trying so hard to fill out our map. And we have a team of over 15 writers. Like I said, they're around the country, one in Canada, and they're just amazing. They have the best ideas. They help us grow, and we really couldn't do it without them.
Yeah, and one of our writers came up with the idea of sending notes in Spanish because she speaks Spanish, and then we found out someone else on our team speaks Spanish. So it's amazing being able to send notes to people who may have not been able to receive notes anyway if they didn't speak English. So that's like a new category that we send the notes to. And then also we send notes to the caregivers of those with OCD, which is also an idea from one of our writers. So we have a mom of someone with OCD on our team, as well as someone who is in the OCD community who works with parents all the time with parents of those with OCD. So it's also like important that the people who are writing the regular notes, not alone notes and BFRB notes, have OCD or BFRB or both. And then of course, like the caregiver notes, like I said, are caregivers who are actually writing the notes. So that makes it extra special that it's not just one of us writing the caregiver notes, it's someone who actually understands and can send empathy.
And in the same regard, the people sending sort of the regular original notes are all people with OCD or some close connection to the OCD community, like being a parent. And that way they can relate and they're part of the community and they get it. And I think that's really important that, you know, people with OCD can feel so isolated, but when you find that group of people who get it, it can mean so much. So our writers hopefully help communicate that. Other impact is about a month ago, we got our 501c3 designation, which is going to really help us apply for grants and just all sorts of opportunities. We have 3,000 followers on social media. And more important than social media, this picture shows just some of the thank you notes we've received. My board has significantly grown since I took this picture, but it's just so special. We don't ask for letters back, but when we get letters back, or pictures of people with their cards, it's so heartwarming and motivating to see that it meant something to them. Sometimes people will tell us, oh, I leave it above my desk at work so I can see it every day, or I leave it in my binder for school so it reminds me, and it's just really special. Whoops. So one of our sort of sub projects is Not Alone Totes. We like the rhyming scheme. So when I first had the idea to like send some sort of message to people with OCD, the original idea actually was to send essentially a care package of resources. That wasn't feasible at the time. A stamp was a lot cheaper and we didn't have all the connections we have now. But after 3 years, we were able to send sort of a trial run of 30 totes. And essentially what it is, you know, this is in particular geared toward people who have just been diagnosed with OCD. We want to overwhelm them in a good way with resources. So we got a lot of great donations from authors, from foundations. So there's books we gave out and they could rank if they wanted a coloring book or a fiction book or a workbook. Lots of stickers from different organizations. Picking Me Foundation donated a bunch of fidget toys. So for that body focused repetitive behavior type deal, a letter and a journal to help if they want a journal or take it to therapy, a coupon for a mindfulness course, all sorts of stuff that when you're first diagnosed with OCD could be really helpful. And we're hoping to do more rounds in the future. In particular, we want to do a round especially geared towards kids. And so all sorts of stuff that would be helpful for a kid who's just been diagnosed with OCD.
And that's Morgan taking all of the packages, all 30 packages to the post office.
Yes, well, I went in 2 trips, but yes. And we also include, since it's called a tote bag with Molly's artwork on it. So that's kind of cool. Go for it, Molly.
So as I said before, I'm an artist, so I definitely wanted to incorporate as much art as possible into this project. On the right are a bunch of notes that are cards and decorations that our writers have made. So it shows like different styles. We have one writer who does like embroidery into the notes. We have some who do collage, use lots of washi tape. So everyone's styles are different, and I'm happy to see that like everyone can use their artistic abilities into a project. And we also accept donations, which we can talk about at the end, but like card donations, artwork, we love to like have as much art as possible.
Yeah.
And on the left are some Instagram infographics that one of our writers make, which is great because people can share the information and learn what they may not even know was OCD, like harm OCD. There's so many different types. And what OCD really is, and it shows another way to incorporate art and our writers' talents into our project. And
yeah, so as Molly was mentioning, we love if you send to our PO box or contact us art on cards. And there's a lot of different styles to do it. And we will send that out to our writers, and we will use it to send cards to people with your artwork. So Molly, do you want to talk about the coloring book?
Sure. So one of someone that we followed on Instagram posted like I don't know, 4 years ago. I've had to say, realized this a long time ago, that she said that she would Google triggering image coloring books. So she'd be like a syringe coloring page just on regular Google, and then would color it in part of her exposure therapy homework. And so I thought that was a great idea to have a whole entire book dedicated, because coloring books are so popular nowadays. Like, why not make it fun a little bit with creative making, throwing an exposure in there. So all the different pages are different types of themes that OCD may attach to. Of course, we couldn't do every theme possible in one book because OCD latches on to whatever people find most important. So that could be anything in the whole world. So we had some that came to mind, and we included it in the book. And then Morgan's a writer, so on the other side of the page that doesn't have the coloring book page, she made like a little blog post, because that's her specialty. And the blog post is like her experience with the different themes that are included in the book, and then also do you want to explain what else is included on the page?
Yeah, so it's sort of instructions on how you can use the page, but it's just ideas. You're welcome to use the page however creatively works with your OCD and your exposures. And it's great to do this with a therapist too. But so like the report card page, with a fear of getting bad grades and perfectionism, I would use that to write like, oh, in my science class, I got a D. So I would draw that science D and then stick it above my desk. So then when I'm like studying for a class, I see that, it's like, oh no, maybe I'll get a bad grade. And it's keeping that exposure going. But people have gotten really creative in how they use them. Someone used this page for fear of being a bad friend. And so she wrote listening skills and gave herself like a C, and you could put it by your phone or something like that. And it's just, there's so many options for how to use these different pages. There's a page for almost every theme. Hopefully we'll do a second round and get just about every common theme. And some other projects we've done on the other side, we did a calendar for 2021, and we had our writers and members of the OCD community submit artwork, and we put together a 14-month calendar of just encouraging, hopeful, pretty artwork, and they're just really beautiful. We have t-shirts that we used as a fundraiser. We're hoping to do more with that. And then just for fun, we made a Spotify playlist. It's all like songs about not being alone, being brave, facing your fears.
I also wanted to mention that the coloring book you can get on Amazon.
Yes.
It's $10 on Amazon. And then we also have a cheaper version on our website. That's the digital download.
Yeah.
And you can also find our t-shirts and the Spotify playlist on our website.
Yeah, so we just want to make everything accessible as possible. And all of the funds go back into sending notes. So these are some of the pets of Not Alone Notes. We love to take pictures of cards with our animals. This is our contact information. We have our website, our social media. We are on Facebook and Instagram and LinkedIn just for fun. And our email, if you would like to donate artwork or other donations, no pressure, but or contact us if you have ideas for ways to help, if you have skills you think we could use. And we would love to work with you and just keep expanding this project.
Definitely. Thanks so much for listening.
Thank you.
Bye.